Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another show. How's everybody doing tonight? We're back and we're still working away on the map. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I got a different headset plugged in this week and I should be pretty clear. It's new. Hey, old man farmer, Sense fan, and all right, Sapper, Viper, thank you for the host. So, I didn't get to do a show last week. I just wanted to let you guys know that, yeah, I got kind of busy with family, my sister visiting. But work, well, it slowed down a little last week, but we picked it back up this week, and I've been working on more buildable factories and just getting the factory markers on the lots and everything. So we're going to go around and we're going to build some of the new ones so you guys can see which ones they are. And a little later we'll discuss just about everything I think that needs to be done before we get a release. So some of the new stuff that's coming in will let you know. I've got a roadmap. But here we are at the Board and Dairy, and that one is going to be buildable. I think it's the first time that the Board and Dairy will be buildable. And what I did is I topped off all the factories with except for one product. Thank you, Badzilla, for the host. So they all need boards in them. Hopefully, I got all the ones that we need. It's like last minute preparation. So 200,000 boards, and I got a big train here. So we only need to make 2 trips to each factory this time to get it going. So we're going to start with the dairy here, and I'm going to just fill up some boards, get this factory process started. You guys can watch it build. We'll go fast forward once we get everything ready through the build process. And I haven't even tested these, so let's see if we got any bugs in them. There are now, so far, 9 buildable factories, so there's 4 additional ones, but also several of the factories that won't be buildable this time around have their markings on them as well. So I've got a list here. We've got 9 so far that are buildable. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, counting away, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18 factories that have all their markings done. So 18 factories are actually ready to go for the update, but there is still another 9 left to finish the process of, and I do know which ones will be buildable and which ones won't, so we'll let you in on that. We're just going to go around the map today, build up the ones that are new here, and maybe even some of the ones you didn't get to. I think there were 2 that we didn't get to build last time, and let you know which 3 will be coming. There's going to be 3 new ones in addition to the new ones that are already on the map. And we'll get into that a little bit later. I got to get one more load of stuff. If I can get this big rig out of here. I got the F5 key on there. So it is coming along pretty good, but it's summertime and here's how it's going to work for the next week. If when all the stars align, which means that I have time, number 1. Number 2, I'm in a good mood, so I don't like to broadcast when I'm miserable, which I'm not always the happiest person. But I don't, so I stay away when I'm just grumpy. Uh, and number 3, when I have the time to work on the map here, I'm going to broadcast during the week, starting on Monday, probably, whenever I have time. I do have some jobs I got to take care of around the house. Kids are going to camp, so the internet will be freed up pretty good, and I'll have a good internet connection all week long. So, oh, I'm not even going to the right place. Yeah, we don't pick up boards here. See, I can't talk and do 2 things at the same time. So, I'm planning on broadcasting, I don't know if all the factory process, but like every other one or every couple. So, from Monday through Friday, whenever I have available time and I'm working on the map, we're going to pop on here and you guys can watch along and see just how much of a pain in the rear it is to get these factories done. Usually they take, converting them over to buildable takes somewhere between 3 and 6 hours each. So we'll probably jump on, and thank you there for the follow, DLWN download dude or something 146. I don't know exactly if that's how you say it, but thanks anyway for the follow. So yeah, I'm not gonna schedule a broadcast because it's summertime and things have just been crazy, but we're gonna try to get on this week as much as possible with keeping you guys up to date with what's going on. My real goal is to get the last 9 factories done. X-Man 1971, thank you for the 13-month subscription. I really appreciate that as well. That is awesome. 13 months. He's been there since the beginning, so we've had the subscription service going for 13 months now, I think. He's been there since day one. Thank you so much for that. And TZig18, thank you for the follow. So we're going to go around. We'll show you the new markings on all the factories that we put them on, and we'll build up the factories that are buildable, the new ones that you didn't see last week, maybe some of the other ones if we have time a little bit later. And we're going to discuss the 3 new factories. Now, granted, everything's subject to change without notice. But I do have plans to put 3 new factories in to take care of the rest of the products. We'll go through that after we get through this factory process, because I got to kind of show you some of I got to go to the other screen and out of the game to do that so I can remember what they are myself. And all the things that I want to get wrapped up. So other than just the factories, before I even get it out to my guys on our server, Melvin Carlson, thank you for the follow as well. Before I even get it out to our server for Lars and Dan and whoever else shows up to test it, I need to have the new factories on the maps. That's priority. All of them be buildable. I need to rework the train stations so that all of them are connected. And we may go crazy and into putting some new train stations in to separate. We'll see about that when the time comes. Just to kind of, I don't even know where I'm going. But we got Campbell's here. I may try to put, all the train stations are going to be connected to, so if you dump in one, it's available at the other. We know that's going to happen. What I want to be able to do, if space permits, is separate so there are actually 3 train stations on each route so that the goods will be dropped off at once, so you're not in the same triggers all the time. We'll see if that's going to be possible. We'll do our best to do that. So that's one of the things as well that is on the list, and that is also has to be anything that has to do with changing the terrain or moving stuff around, putting in new factories. Just makes it easier if I get all that stuff done before I release it to my guys for testing, because I won't have to do the landscape changes twice on our server and everything. So that is the first part of the process, along with repricing. There's going to be one day, I think we'll be able to cover it all, a factory overhaul, which will be going through the prices. All the prices have to be just tweaked. All the sell points have to be tweaked a little bit with the new products, and we'll be looking at different ways to do that. The upgradable, speeds the factories run at are all going to be looked at too. So that's all going to, thank you so much, J Reedy 76 for the $25 donation. Thank you so much. That's a huge help, especially with my daughter coming into town, a little spending money. She's coming for August, so I really do want to get this done by the end of, which is only, what, July 21st, 10 days away. I'd like to have at least to my guys for testing the main part, the stuff that needs to be done before. My daughter's not coming till August 7th, I think, so we got about 2 weeks. And I'm going to be here still with her most of the time, except for 1 week going camping. Uh, but I want to be able to get it to our guys testing and just so we can get all the tweaking done. And it won't be long if as they're testing. So we're looking middle, late August to get it out to you guys. There's really not much to test other than they're going to be dumping stuff in the triggers and getting them ready and just making sure everything works in multiplayer. So along with that, I want to redo the greenhouse area, which has to be done before it goes to them because the whole landscape's going to change over there. Want to open that up, make it much easier for you guys to get in and out of with the greenhouse stuff. So I'm going to jump and get myself a box truck. Now, if you were here for the last show, you probably heard that we're going to use this, not use the box truck. And I'll give you a little bit more explanation why in a minute. But the box truck, for gold, we're going to use the small pickup truck when it's done. I'm using the box truck to haul gold. It won't when we're done, but I'm using it for the shows just to make it easier and take a lot less time. Otherwise, we'd be making 4 to 6 trips per factory offloading the gold, which is going to be fine when you guys are building it because it's not going to be fast forwarded, but for the show, it would take a lot of extra time. And there's 2 reasons behind that. Number one, I do want you're going to get paid for building the factories. Like we said, it's about $25,000 per truckload of 500 gold, and you get 4 to 6, it's going to be 4 to 8 loads depending on the factories. The later factories, the bigger ones, the ones that we're going to be getting into building this week, because I've been actually going through a list of what order they're going to be unlocked. Those will take a little bit more product, but will also produce more gold. And the reason, number 2, is the trigger for the gold has to be accessible for picking up the gold, and it's there on the mat. And I don't want that to be, it'll disappear, but actually the trigger, if we highlight it, that little orange box will always be there. Now, the reason why we only want to use the other truck is because once the factory's done, there is going to be no use for that trigger. And if we have a truck in here that, like the box truck, and it doesn't take gold, you'll be able to go out over that and you won't even know it's there. So that is the real reason, number 2. Just because the trigger is going to be there, but if a truck, the only truck that can recognize it is the small Chevy pickup, then it won't be in the way. You won't be fooled by a trigger popping up and all that. So that is why I want to switch it to just the Chevy picking up gold when we're done. And it works, but it just needs the fill planes. So here you can see we're at 99%. We've got 12 gold and the project's at 0%. We're going to fast forward this time and you'll watch the factory pretty much build in fast time here. Ready? I'm gonna do the super fast forward and you'll see the buildings come on. Once the gold gets to 500, we're gonna have to offload it, but you can see this one's popping up. And I'm going to try to stop it relatively. So again, if you didn't catch last week's show, if you get 500 gold into the factory like we are now, production will stop at 25%. It's 25% built, but until the gold's offloaded, production will stop. So it's going to be up to you guys to keep an eye on them and where they are and empty them on a regular basis of the gold in order to keep the factory building process going. Just kind of little bit of interaction with the process, not just fill it and leave, but it'll build 25% before it can be emptied. And then you can take that amount of gold off to the bank and sell it, and you'll get $25,000 for the 500 gold that's there. So you would be able to pull over on the trigger with the other truck when we get it. And you'll notice if there's no gold, the marker disappears. And it will reappear because the factory is still being built. But with the other truck, you'd have to empty it because it's only going to hold 500 gold. With this, I don't have to do all those extra trips. But you can see it already made some more gold because it's still building. And we'll fast forward to 50% done. And oh yeah, silos are popping in. Some of this is going to be dark, but and get rid of those things while we're doing this. But we'll get back to the daytime once we get the factory done, and we'll take a look at it. Oh, board and sign comes up. So we're at 50%. The gold's filled again. And we'll come over here and offload it so we can get the factory building again. All the factories are going to work this way. We've got 1,000 gold in the truck. And go to 75% done. Now, what's going to happen is after we get 75, we'll be good. But I'll show you. All right. Now that was a little, this is why, all right, we might have to do a little adjustment. We're at 75% done, but I'm inside a building here. You'll see I have to readjust. And that's why, another reason why you want to keep your vehicles off the place when it's being built. That building needs to be moved down the list a little bit because it appeared a little bit too soon. That, though, is why when you're building factories, you're going to want to make sure you dump the last product and have all the product available all at one time. Because that, with this way of building the factories, it is the downfall of having to do it this way. I have to close off the old triggers, and they are behind that building, but the factory's not done building yet. We do have enough product in there to finish the process, though. So let me just fast forward until the we're gonna go right through a whole nother day. There we go. And if we can get to the 2,000 gold from this, oh, am I? Oh yeah, the markers are on. That's why the markers came in before it. I need to move that building after the markers, and then it'll be good. Then it'll be open longer. Thank you guys for the follows as well. So that's, sometimes it ends at 19.99 until you get an empty box truck. But that building has to go in last, and then you'll have more time. It'll get to more like 95% before it's done. Everything has to be in there. So you have salt and water drop-off spots, and we'll just drive around. The dairy is complete. That building blocks off the triggers, so you never have to see the building part again. You have the milk drop-off spot right there. Thank you, Reflex0362, Millsy 2016, Panchorn1 for your follows. And what else was on here? Over here we have the sour cream and cheese pickup spots right there. So the dairy is done, and I just have to make a note to make a change. I got to move those markers. I put them in last. They really need to be before that last building, and then it won't jump in so soon. The building that covers the triggers needs to be last, so I just got to move it down the list. Like I said, we're in testing, but it'll be a little bit smoother. You should be able to get to about 95% of the factory built before the trigger covers. Let's move on to the next one on the list. But the dairy is completely buildable, and you make 100 grand for building the dairy. And you will, I don't know, do we have the dairy? I think is not, doesn't have to be purchased. Some of these things will need to be purchased after they're built as well. And the dairy might end up being that way, but I don't know. That's coming after all the factories are in. We'll figure that out. Hey JWB509, how's it going out there? Good to see you tonight. So how's everybody enjoying their summer? Well, I do this all the time. I'm going the wrong place. I've been going back and forth to the store so much that I forget where the warehouse is. We are gonna go get some of the product, the boards for the next one. So in addition to the bird seed, if you weren't here last week, we did the bird seed, the textile, well, not last week, the week before. Ooh, we're going to hit we got 30 followers to 2,000. That's pretty awesome, and they're coming in. So bird seed, textile, steel mill, we did that last time. The concrete factory. That's buildable as well. The gypsum has its markings in it, but it's not buildable. We'll just drive by those. Let me get some boards. I need to get another 100,000. We're going to go to the bread factory. Bread factory is completely buildable as well. And I do have an idea, if all works well, which ones after we're done with these 4 will be the remaining, which ones are coming in, which ones that are not done yet that have to be buildable. And what did I say? I think there's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more to go. 3 brand new ones, 6 existing ones. Of those 9, there is going to be at least 1, 2, well, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 that are definitely going to be buildable, and we will see about the new ones, the 3 new ones that are coming in, if they will or if they won't when I get there. Hope they should be, and that also all depends on resources, if the game can handle it. So far it really hasn't. That's all right there, Cresta166. That's why we're here. If you have questions, either these guys will help answer it. I'll try. I'm not going to go out of the way too much tonight, but I'll try to answer it verbally if need be. But questions are always ready, and that's why we're here. When is the website to download this going to be updated for Farm Sim 15 download, Farm Sim 17 download? It's hard to find the updates. That is a good question. Right now, if I had like 10 other people working over here, I could handle it all. The web, if you're here at the Twitch page, I updated the, like, if you look down below, you'll see the PV15 version 2 map link. There's a picture for version 2. If you click on that, the latest files are always there. So anybody that's watching Dajnet, Twitch TV/Dajnet, come in, you can click on that and you can get the latest version of the map. It's in there. I just updated it today. I forgot to do it. If you come during the show, you can, or when my bot is on, you just have to type in !, link 1, link 2, link 3, or link 4. But we've had so many storms coming through the area this past week that I shut down the computer and I forgot to restart the Inkbot. So nobody could do it that way. But the link down below is updated. The website is, we'll have to get some links in there. We'll get it into at least the forums. Doing the website updates, it's all time consuming, and I've got so much I want to get done on the map that that's where I usually put my priorities. I know when all this is wrapped up, then and version 3 is released, we'll try to clean up all that stuff before we get into any major projects. So onward to our bread factory. And Stampy Carlos 18 2001 came PKP Turk Narankum Reflex 0362 Milsey 2016 Pangjorn 1. Thank you all for the follows. And let me just check and make sure that, so all the factories are going to take, if you missed it, the chipboard, steel, drywall, boards. Some of them are one product less, concrete. And the early ones take a couple different products that, like the steel, you can't build the steel factory with steel if it's not available. Let me go around to the meter box here. Just make sure that boards is the only thing I need, 200,000 of. We're good to go. What do you mean boards is not accepted here? It better be, because am I on the board's logo? Uh-oh. Let me see if I got to pull in. I might be in one of the other triggers, but it should take boards. If not, then we'll build it. We'll figure it out a little bit later. Oh, there we go. See, that's a tricky thing with these triggers. They can't be overlapping each other, so you got to make sure you get right on the boxes, not into one of the other triggers, and we were kind of at an angle, so we should be able to get the rest of them in here now, though. ETA on V3. Let's just call it, yes, you will be able to upgrade the factories as well. ETA, let's call it by the end of August. I'm shooting for the middle of August, but you never know. There's still a lot to be done. So sometime within a month. And somebody also asked, will you be able to upgrade the factory? Yes, you will be able to upgrade the speed that the factories produce. However, one of the biggest things that I want to do this time around is make it so the upgrades are more worthwhile. All the factories are going to get an overall production speed for several reasons. But the first thing is there may be more levels to upgrade it. Number one, I want upgrading to be a viable option. A lot of people don't upgrade them right now because there's really no need to. You can't keep them all going. So at the initial, other than the factories that are producing products to build the other factories, such as the steel, drywall, boards, those are going to stay pumping out product pretty darn fast. And they'll still be upgradable, but at the top upgrade level, you won't be able to keep up with them because we want you to have enough product to keep the process going on building the factories. As far as the products, after all the factories, like when you get to the ones like the birdseed, the textile, the final end products, the first level of that is going to slow down drastically. And when I say drastically, let's put it this way. I was running the farm for a couple weeks here when I was actually had some time to play. I was up on the farm. I had all my fields going, and I played several hours in a day, and I could do all my fields and fill up the beer factory, and it would pretty much be empty the next day of the products, and I have to do all my fields again and fill it back up. And I never on the one farm got past just running one factory. And that's not the way I want the game to go. So uh, prices for the end products are going to go up. Production speed is going to go way down. So if you're a single player, for the initial without upgrading it. So I'm planning on bringing it so a not upgraded factory right at the start for those final products, the ones that don't need to go into other buildings, will take a long time to process the product you put in there. When I say a long time, I'm thinking like 14, somewhere around 10 to 14 in-game days. So if you were to fill up, say, the brewery with all its products and it's topped off and it's running at the slow speed in the beginning, it should run somewhere 10 to 14 days before you have to go back to it. That gives you the opportunity to go to other factories and not have to sit there if you're a single player or even on a server. You'll be able to catch up and work on all the factories, not be stuck on the same one all the time. And then we'll have multiple increase levels, so when you're able to handle it, if you want to, you'll be able to purchase the speed increases and get it back down to where it only takes a couple days of product if you want to go all the way through. If I'm correct, we're able to do more than 3 upgrade levels. I might add, like, go up to 5 and have it go. And this is just thinking outside the box where I'd like to do. I don't know if it's all going to work out well, but I'd like to see it go from like taking 10 to 14 days, cutting it back to maybe 7 to 10 days, and then by upgrading it once, then bringing it to another level where it takes like 5 to 7 days to use up its product, and then get it down to where the fastest level, your product will last in there 2 to 3 days before going it. So you'll have a choice. You upgrade it all the way, you can fill it up every 2 to 3 days if you want to go that way. If you want to, don't mind the slower production. Some of them you might need. Now, factories like flour, sugar, the ones that go into another factory, those production speeds will be faster than the ones that just produce end game products. So that is the key. Now we do have the bale storage facility here. I don't think that anybody has one as far as bale storage other than the ones that are built into the maps because of the way the process works. The way it has to basically take the bales out and then recreate them. I think this is the only one, and it has to be built into the map. Is this a better map than Dying? Well, in my eyes, it's the best map there is, but that's because I made it. But now, let you guys decide on that one. Am I going to let you make pizza like the other one? You loved making pizza. That is not on the list right now, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It could easily be done if... We'll see. It's one of those things that may pop back up because the pizza place, there's a lot of work already done on the pizza place. If we do make pizza into it'll be the final factory on the list, and that'll put us up to like 25 or something ridiculous, not counting the sawmills and stuff. So it's a possibility. I got to see how, I mean, the factory menu is, as you can see, and I got 3 more to add to it. It's getting quite long. That would mean 4 more to add. It definitely would have room, but there's only so much you can do in a day, and this map's gonna have you busy for a long time. So here we are at the bread factory, finishing it up, and we'll see if I did the same thing, put those markers in a little bit too late. If this building gets covered up, I got to get my gold vehicle over here. Again, when you're not building, It's best to keep your vehicles off of the slab because, well, you know what will happen. There we go. Let's go over and get the gold off of that thing and build that one up. You can lose your vehicles inside a building and then you'd have to reset it as they're popping up. Would anyone know why your wool pellets won't show up on PV15 version 2? Yes, because you have a trigger to load wool and output the pallets. Uh, the process has changed on version 2 with this, and you just go to the animals section and you can go to your sheep, and if you want you would go over here and it's if you have 5,000 liters, click load 5,000 liters to pallet and it will create your wool pallets. There's a trigger over there also that you can fill wool in the box truck, and we'll mark those a little bit better in this version, version 3, but that is how you make pallets of wool in this. You got to actually create the pallets from this little menu. I don't have any wool on the map because it's a clean starter map, but that's how you would do it. Just click there. Hope that helps you answer that question. Is there going to be eggs available? Currently, I don't have that, but I will write that map name down and check that out. What Hofbergman map? Hofbergman. We may do something with eggs. I'm not 100% sure. Is this map going to be Seasons Mod enabled? No, it will not. Seasons Mod will not work. I did the tests. It does not work with the factory script, so sorry about that, but there's nothing I could do about it without pretty much removing everything the way it's done now, and that's not going to happen. So sorry about that, but I did run the test right after last show we did, and it has to weigh the fruits have to be registered a certain way to work in the factories we have, and they do not work with with the Seasons Mod. So here we are. We're building up this factory. Let me get my gold truck ready and go take a look at our meter for building. And we'll fast forward through our brev factory here. And you can see it already appearing. We're at 12% built, and we've got several buildings already on the lot. All right, so 25% built. Let's offload our gold. We could take a look around. When you're in slow motion, you can kind of move around. Yeah, things will pop up, but not as fast as I'm doing. So you can drive around and see that already 25% built. We got most of the structures here. A couple of the markers, water, and the flower. All flowers, but we'll continue the process. Let's get this truck out of here because that'll be in the building when it's done. And continue. Get back to daylight. Look at all these things popping up. I've fast forwarded. It takes about 2 days. I've fast forwarded way further than I had to. So we'll just wait till this gets full. gold is full. Production stopped. We got a little bit more going on out there. We got some of the parking lot lines popped up. And there goes the parking lot line right there. So every piece, yeah, it's still fast forwarding because I fast forwarded way too far. Uh, Almost there, 75%. Oh, it stopped short of 75. All right, so we're at 76%. And one more trip, this factory will be done and it'll be daylight. And the building that this 77, let's see, I'll be inside a building if I stand here. Normally you wouldn't be standing here watching the meter. You just make sure you have enough. And like I said before, if you have the project total that's on the map, see how it says 81? And if you add it together with one of the other ones, the percentage being 18, you'll get 99%. And that pretty much means that you have enough product in there to finish it. It'll either add up to 99 or 100% on all the products by adding the project and all the other products to whatever their percentages are. If one of those 15% right now said 14, there wouldn't be enough and you'd know you'd have to add some before it gets too far built. So we're at 86, 87, we've got more buildings, 89, 90, 92, 93, 95 is good. All right, see how 96% the building came in? That's what we want to avoid being in there with any vehicles, but we'll just fast forward just a little bit more. You'll know if the gold thing keeps popping up that if I fast forward now and the gold thing pops up, we weren't done, but it's not going to. All the gold's out of there, so we're good. And here we have our bread factory. It's already operational. We don't own it, but you pick up our breads there. If we had an empty box truck, we could buy some. And we have all our markers for our water. All flowers get dumped off here. Coal. So perfectly functional. And I didn't notice that before, but I see a bug. Ha! I need to do something with my markers because they're back in there. We're going to have to move them around just a little bit. Make a note of that. I didn't realize you could pull back in here, but we don't want that there. So they're going to have to be moved a little bit. That's all. So that that building covers them up. That's why we do the testing. Markers visible at bread factory. So they won't be visible when we get done. We'll figure a way out. But also, I wanted to make a note that all the factories that take pallets now have the pallet fill blocks. So as you're dropping off pallets, they'll show up here and stack up a little bit of pallets. Before we just had a little thing dropping it off, but now it's just like the other products. When the pallets are empty, you won't see any there. It looks like the pallets here at the bread factory are pretty full. So let's find Heartland Bread. Where are you, Heartland? I know you're in there somewhere. My gosh, it's getting so big. There, it's down here. So you'll notice that the pallets are really close to full at 186,000 out of 200,000. That's why all of them are showing there. So Another one of those things. Version 3, if you're just joining us, this version of the map, we're shooting for August, but not until 2, 3 weeks into August at the earliest. I'm hoping to get all the factories done this week. Uh, we'll be broadcasting. Thank you, everybody, for the follows. They're just going off the wall tonight, which is awesome. And I don't even know what the latest number is, but we got to be close to 2,000, which would be pretty cool. So, yeah, I'm going to try to broadcast the remaining building factories and some of the remaining processes this week, starting on Monday, the week coming up. Next factory on the list here will be right up here, the Pepsi factory, which was a bear to get done, but we'll pull over here and get ready to do the bread factory. Let's go get some more boards. So, yeah, there's a lot of things I want to get done, but we're going to be plugging away all this weekend. I'm going to try to broadcast that as much as possible, the work going on. So you guys, if you could stop at the beginning of one of those factory building shows, I'll put it up there. I'll probably just do like one at a time, like I said, because it will be a roughly 3 to 4 hour broadcast every one I do. And I don't know if I'll do all of them because it kind of, as I'm talking to you guys, building working on the factories, it slows down the process a little bit because you got concentration level isn't all there. But I enjoy doing it and talking with you guys, so we'll see how it works out if I can get them done reasonable. Otherwise, we might jump in every other or every 2 or 3 and just get in there and do some work. There's several small odd jobs that have to be done as well. Like I said, the sell point updates and the just the balancing of the factory production rates and the factory prices and the factory speed. Yeah, the train stations have to be done. Uh, the warehouse has to be filled with all the new products that we're adding to the map, and there are several. Already over version 2, I think we have over 20 new products in the map. And in a little while, once we're done with building the 4 new factories and taking a look at some of the other ones, we'll let you know what 3 new ones are coming to the map and what the current plan is for what products they're going to use and what products they're going to output. And where they're going to be, I have no idea yet. I know where a couple of them are going to be, but we've already added Planters Peanuts in. We added the whole honey bees processing, making honey candles from the wax, and fire logs with the peanut shells and the wax. So there's a whole bee products factory as well, and a few new ones. And the goal here is to use up, oh, we also have the meat processing. That's coming back, so we have several meats, and Campbell's Soup is back on the map if it's over that way on the other side of the hill. So Campbell's has several soups that are being made again. 6 of them. I think we're only using 6 this time just because there's so many things already. How do you clean the cow barn? You drop your shovel over there. Or I don't know exactly what you mean by clean the cow. You can, if it's dirty, you got to pick up the stuff near the trigger. If you don't have full cleanliness, you just got to go over with a shovel, just like on any other map, and clean the product away from the trigger where you feed them, and you'll be good to go. So, yeah, the museum needs to be updated. Get all your donations in there, and that is the stuff that I'll be working on once my guys have the copy and get all this into testing mode. So it will be pretty darn awesome. It's going to be quite different because all in all, 5 new factories and more use for the products that are in them. That was my goal, is to use up everything that the factories produce. And I've got that down except for like one product, and that is the mutton from the sheep, from the meat processing. But that's okay. We'll make it extra special price on something like that. Yeah, doors, you don't need to go into the cows to feed them. Again, there's most factories are pretty good, but I wanted to show you on I some of them had gates that had to come out. This one did. I didn't want you bumping into the invisible gates. Some of them I wanted to leave them on there. So if you hit something trying to come in, but this one had two gates and you'd always be hitting either the out or the in one. And so there are no more movable gates on this one. But we can fill up our boards. Pepsi Factory took me about 6.5 hours to build, to get it buildable, just because there are so many little pieces and they have to be arranged in a certain way and moved around, and the map is so big now with so much stuff that every time you copy and or cut something and move it, it takes time. If you watch one of the shows this week when we're doing that process, you'll just see how it's not. I could do it much faster if the computer worked faster, but it doesn't work that way. Come on, hit my trigger. There we go. A lot of time I work on these processes and it's just, the map is so big, it's slow going. I kind of thought I was on the last one. I need to be on the one. I can't back up now. Here, let's try this again. Do another loop. Whoops, I got the unload right there. There we go. Now I can't even remember if I did a trip over here already or was this the first one. We're going to check it out. I think that was the first one. Yep, we're half full on the boards. We need to go a little more. One more full trip of boards over here and Pepsi will be building. All in all, it's not as perfect and as in depth as the process, but it gives us something to do, and the way the map's going to work, I think it's going to be, actually for a lot of you, I think it'll be more enjoyable. Some people thought it was too much work to build the factories. It's not nearly as much work. You get money for doing it, and the rewards for running the factory are going to be a lot greater in this one. A little bit slower, but you can purchase to speed it up, but the prices are going to go up on a lot of the end products. No new animals for V3. And that was, I'm going to take a look at the egg thing. It all depends on how that works if we bring eggs back. But one thing I did not want to do is add another animal type like the chickens back in. If we can do eggs without having to move chickens around, only because we have a special animal trailer that will work with the meat processing facility and the factories. And at this point, I don't want to have to figure out how to add new animals into the vehicle. I want to get this done. Doesn't mean it down the road something might not come along, but for the initial release of this map, we're going to stick to the 3 animals that are on here and maybe add eggs if we don't have to haul chickens around. We shall see. But there's going to be so much that At some point, we just got to say enough's enough, and just enjoy playing it because this map is jam-packed with stuff. And if you're playing V2 right now, there is going to be so much more than V2. It's going to be a little bit easier to play, I believe, with we're trying to take care of some of the little things like spreading the factory or the train station triggers and connecting all the train stations together, that type of thing. But yeah, it's still got a lot to do. And you will have to start over for V3. If you're familiar with messing with your game files, you can probably alter the new save game file and carry your products over and stuff, but it's not going to do it on its own because there's so many landscape changes. That's the main reason. There's a lot of landscape changes for the new factories. New roads still have to come in, that type of thing. Some All sorts of little changes are going to be taking place that will pretty much require a restart. All I have to do is feed the chickens grain and water and they produce eggs. You don't have to buy chickens, only feed them. All right, well that sounds like it's a possibility. I'm going to take a look at that there, Dark Farm Life, and we'll see if it's something that we can use. Because if it's relatively easy and isn't going to put another week onto the map, then it's easy to add the eggs into the factory. If the factories, if their output, does it output pallets? If it's outputting pallets that are acceptable by our triggers, then my guess is it's probably a fabric script ordeal. And if that's the case, then it probably could be easily incorporated into the map. That's the other thing we got to look at, resources too. Once we get all these buildables in, there's going to be another 15 instances of scripts running on the map, and we got to make sure everything runs smooth. When all's said and done and all the work is done, I got to re-output it and optimize it a little bit before we get it out to you guys as well. So it's a process. I always think positive and hope we get it out there as quickly as possible, but I'm not going to rush it to the point where you guys get something that's completely broken. So I'm still shooting for some time in August to get this thing done. Stick with me this week if we can fly, if we get some shows during the week coming up, and you guys can motivate me to keep going. That's a bit, keep me entertained while I'm working on the map this week. Then I can definitely. Oh, I already built this factory. See, can't talk and do two things at once. Then maybe we'll get it done faster. We might end up with some 8-10 hour broadcasts depending on what's going on. But hey, that's the key, how many hours I'm going to put into it. It's all takes time, lots of time. And as long as we're moving forward, I'm happy, but I want to get it done as quickly as possible. So we'll finish putting some boards in here. A Hofbergman, cool. I'll check out and see how it's done. You could see as we've been gone, we already have a silo built over there on this because the process is much more gradual than it was. Last year, factories were built in 4 stages pretty much. 1, 2, 3, 4. The way they work with this is every single piece is built individually. Sometimes they're built in groups, and it all depends on how I did it. Like the workings of the factory all come in at the end, but when you have the way it's being done now, there are several small pieces to the factory. Each of them is built one at a time, so they come in as you're staying here. And I tried to keep the trigger area where you're filling as empty as possible So you don't, and I'm not saying it's not going to happen. You might get stuck in something or bounced off the map depending on how you guys build. But if you dump your product, you have all of it in there, and then you get your vehicles out of the way, you're pretty good to go. So let's pull this back out here. And the Pepsi factory, the reason why it took so long is it has a ton of little pieces that pop in one at a time. So I'll see if we can capture that fast forwarding a little bit better than, let me try something here. Uh, let's see, not that. I want this, and I am going to toggle flight mode on. Thank you all for the follows. It's really appreciated. Don't have the current count like I said, but I think we're probably over. We're getting close to 2,000, which is awesome. I wish I had prizes to give away, but I'm flat broke. So I really do appreciate it. Also, our Facebook page is 25 away from getting 2,500 followers on Facebook, which is awesome. Uh, we can now fly, and I am going to see if we can get a bird's eye view of the Pepsi factory being built. We'll kind of guess at when it's full of 500 gold or just empty it a little bit if things seem to stop. But we'll show you this process, and I want to see how it looks too. So we're going to just do a little bit at a time. All right, so the work buildings actually come in over triggers so that you can't use the triggers while the factory is being built. And you can see another one of the buildings popped in there. I'm going to just tap it up. We've got more coming in. And here we go, a little bit more. I'm just going very ever so slow, and you can see that the factory is building. There's some piping coming in back there now. Here, let me see if I can, whoops, wrong button. I just landed. So all the individual pipes have to come in as this one builds. There's more silos in the main building, and yeah, so let's see if we got more coming. Yep. I see pipes coming in. Now that I might move around because they're just floating in the air, and I tried to get it so that the building was back there first. But yeah, you can see each one of them individually pops in. But that's where the main building's going to go too. So I think we might be empty. Let's go check my. Let's go check and see if we got 500 gold in there so we can continue our process. Yep, we got to empty it. And I tried to put the gold triggers a little bit out of the way so that you're not running them over them just in case. But there we go. We can stand around and watch the rest of this place be built. Get rid of the contracts. There we go. The building came in now for them pipes. This is the one. It had all those individual pieces that you see coming in. There were just so many that had to be moved around that you could see them just appearing. We're filled up again. but it's slowly taking shape over here. You can see some stuff being put up there. It's not the most perfect process, but it gets the job done. And you can see the buildings appearing over on the far side. Some more structure stuff. I will look at this and try to arrange pieces, but there's just so many. Trying to get them all arranged so that they're actually connected to something was tough. We got some silos coming in now over there in the background. Almost done with 75%. We're at 75% built. You can see that this part came in. It's almost looking like it's a factory. Whoops, wrong button. And time to go for the last part. You can see that the piles and everything just appeared on the map. So the workings of the factory are now here. And pretty soon we're going to be inside the building, standing here. Not quite yet. We're at 92%, 93, 94. Now, the more pieces that go into the building process, the longer you have, like it should get really close to 100%, up 98% before the building appeared over the top of us. So we'll just fast forward a little bit more. Whoops. Make sure we have it all. And take the last of the gold out. Yep. I think that if it doesn't disappear like I showed last week, it's that last grain of gold. Eventually you'll be able, once that we empty, but you can see we got everything marked here. So your water, your slurry pickup right there, and all your products getting dumped off. The gold, I'm going to show you that as well. So your Pepsi products will get picked up at that. Your pallets, again, we have pallets stacked up back there to show you how many are on the place. I'm going to take this to the bank real quick because you guys didn't get to see that today, but the gold does get sold at the bank and we'll get out of the negative numbers because we got a ton of gold. And then I'll be able to get that last piece out. So if you have the gold marker there and you can't get that last one out, a lot of times it just needs to catch up or maybe use an empty box truck. We'll see which one it is. So when you have gold, you got to go to the new bank, which is way back here. While we're back here, I'm going to do a little bit of show and tell on the markers at the other places, seeing as we're all the way over here. So we have several places that aren't going to be buildable, but they needed to have the ground markers on them. And we'll show you what they look like and how much easier it's going to be to find where things go in the new factories as well. Let me pull in over here. You will find that there's only one of these markers where gold gets sold, and it's right here. And yay, we're out of the $300,000 so far for building those factories, which is pretty cool. Thank you for the host there. Don't blame me. and all the follows. You get gold for building because you don't own them. Consider it like you're contracted to build them. Once they're built, you still don't own them. You have to purchase them. So that is why you get gold for doing the building process. You have new markers where logs get dumped. We're up here at Cogent. You have markers where you can pick up your wood chips. Everything on these factories has its markers where products are picked up and dumped. So you have coal right there. And I'm also getting rid of the green arrows that are pointing if there's something else that is marking it so we're not redundant. So paper gets picked up there. And I've got a floating marker here at the wood chips that I gotta drop. I good think I'm gonna go. That's why I'm going around. Cogent has a floating marker. Like I said, I've been working on it. This testing, and we will. That's why we get these guys, because I'll even miss some of these things. That's why these guys are going to do a run through. But you can also dump the wood chips up top here, as usual. And you have your boards pickup and your resin pickup point right there. So everything's labeled on Cogent now except for one floating marker that has to go down to the ground. Yeah, you get paid to build them, but you do have to. Also, I like the idea of you having to monitor the building process. Like I said, you get paid 2,000 gold for most of the factories. The ones that I'm be doing this week, some of them are going to get paid 3,000 gold, but the truck's going to only hold 500. So when the factory, if the factory gold isn't emptied every 500, the production's going to stop and you're going to have to empty the gold to offload it and get it going again. I'm going to swing through and try to hit some of the factories on the way back with their new markers before we go back to the next factory that needs to be built. We're going to go around the map. So again, everything here at the whatchamacallit place here, the National Gypsum, has all its markers for where stuff gets dumped. Sometimes I left the yellow boxes because the trigger area is big. Sometimes I took them out if it seemed like it'd be better without the big boxes around the markers, but all depends on the factory. So everything is marked where the pickup point is. So drywall gets picked up here. Even in the back, we have the marking for, whoops, open door. Thank you. For our gypsum drop-off spot. And the coal, again, has a marker over in the corner. The fuel, everything's well marked on this place, the gypsum factory. So you kind of get an idea of which ones will have to, you'll still have to buy National Gypsum in order to own it, but moving on down the road, we're going to go to the next place in line. The canning factory I did not do yet, but the canning place is not going to be built only because at this point in time, I looked at the number of pieces that go into that thing, and it could be done, but the amount of work, it would be a day just doing the canning. It'd be take longer than the Pepsi factory did. So I'm going to leave the canning place open to at the start. You won't be building that one. We have to mark the places at it, get the markers, but I'm going to switch trucks. Maybe, yeah, we'll come back and get that one. when we're ready. We can bring this one over to the next buildable factory first. So Del Monte, the canning company right there, is going to stay, but we'll mark those places. That's going to be done this week. Mark the places a little bit better where stuff gets dropped off. And I'm going to go to the furniture factory, which again is one of those ones. It's a very tight place to move around in, but it's going to be important in the building process. It's not going to, because we're going to need your planks to do several of the factories in the building. Oh yeah, I was going to grab the last of the gold at Pepsi. Let's see if that... Thanks for reminding me there, KW. My mind goes in different places, you see. I just forget things from 5 seconds later. Forget what the heck I was doing. So let's roll up there, grab some gold. Yep, won't take long. See if we can get rid of the marker. You can get rid of the marker. Sometimes it just takes a little extra processing or an empty truck to get that last piece. Sometimes you don't have to worry about it at all, but like the bread factory, we didn't have that issue. We had it last week, and I know we went back and were able to steal that last piece of gold, and I think it has to do with me messing around with the fast forward mod, but we should be able to see. It doesn't even register a whole gold, but the marker disappeared and it will no longer be there. So if you have the marker, I don't even know if we sold 0, if we would actually get anything for it, but it works. That's the important thing. So onward, we're gonna get to, if I can figure out where it is, the furniture factory. Classic case of CRS. Hi, CRS. Now you gotta make me think. What does that mean? I'm sure I have it. Too many irons in the fire. That's for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, the factory prices might get a little bit changing. You're getting paid to build them, but you're going to also have to pay to buy them when they're done if you want to own them. So consider it before you own them. You're actually getting, you're the contract laborer. You get to do the work and get paid for it. And you don't ever have to actually own the factories. You could let the computer run them, but you're relying on how much product they output instead. So we're going to swing over here past Sand Lake, which has all the sand. I'm taking the back way to the furniture factory. Oh, that's what Cam remembers. Yeah, I have that. All right, so if you had issues before, you should know where wood chips get dumped and logs. And we have the planks, which are currently called timber when they're in the menu, but they're going to be switched to planks like it was originally before. So small change there, just the wording. And then over here we have the pickup points labeled nicely for furniture and for chipboard right there. And I believe I saw, and I didn't even realize this. Now you do guys, I hope you realize you're going to need planks for the building process. Oh, there's grass back in there. See that grass? See, that's the kind of thing I'm trying to take care of. So I'm making little notes as we're going through here. Grass at furniture we got to get rid of. Yeah, you can actually pick up your wood chips that are made from the furniture factory right here. I don't know if you guys knew that, but there's a pickup place for wood chips right there. So yeah, if you are working the furniture factory, you're going to need the planks for and the chipboard for building the other factories, or at least the chipboard. So Be aware that if you're running the furniture factory, oh, we don't own it yet, you would have three processes, and you would want to turn off the furniture making because the chipboard and the timber go into the furniture, and you'd be using it up. Definitely be using it up instead of having it available for building factories. So there you go. Furniture is all marked up. And we're going to keep on going around. Now, textile and birdseed, I'm not going to build them again this week because I want to show you guys what's coming new, but we have one more factory that we do need to build. And we're going to go over that way. It's on the other side of the map. So we'll just keep going around. We already built the textile. They end up looking the same, but with the nice markers and everything. The birdseed textile. Campbell's is all marked up and ready to go. We're not going to build that just because that's way too many pieces and not enough, well, yeah, it could be done in the future, but that'd be a piece of work to do that one. Can I sell this 0 gold? I'm guessing that we would get something for it. I think it's probably like a half a gold in there. When we finish up, well, I'd have to go back the other way. Let's see. Where are we? Trying to think. Well, we'll go to the other side of the map this way. We'll go by the bank. We got to go all the way around one way or the other, or go through the middle. So we'll just go around and see what happens if I go over to the bank with this 0 gold and answer that question. Did Viper get the boot from doing the note-taking? Viper, I haven't seen. He's out there. Hey, Viper, how you doing? I haven't seen him in a little while. I hope he's feeling better. I know he was sick for a while there, but I haven't been around that much. I've been in and out, not getting a regular schedule because it's summertime, and went to a pig roast on Sunday and helping my sister do some work on the house around here, and just doing this during whatever free time I have, and it's really been hard to schedule stuff. My sister was in town all last week with her kids, so spent a lot of time there. It's just been summertime, it gets slower around here, but the work keeps going. Hey Kaboombo, welcome to the stream. I see you just started watching. Yeah, so it's been tricky, but usually when September rolls around and people get back, now I'm gonna have to get a job in September too. I'm gonna try. I've been doing a lot of exercise and working on trying to strengthen the muscles around my spine because if you remember, some of you don't, if you're new, you don't know I have a spinal disease, and I've been trying to get disability, but that's not working out. So I've been out of work for 5 years now, living at my sister's place here and doing this map making pretty much non-stop. It's been a rough 5 years, but I've been trying to get myself back in shape, and I'm going to be trying to look for some work because I can't stay here forever. I could, but I got a life of my own I want to get back to. So here we go. Let's check out the gold sales. And contrary to popular belief, you can't sell 1 gold. So you might want to hopefully not ruin. Actually, you might be able to put something else in this box truck. So yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen, but after my daughter's here in August and she goes back home, I'm waiting till after August because I want to be able to spend this summer with her as much as possible, and she's coming for the whole month. Then I'm going to try to look for something. It's not easy when you're trained to do certain things and you've been out of work for 5 years and you can't do the things you've been trained for your whole entire life because of your spinal disease. So if I end up being a greeter at Walmart, that's what it'll have to be. But I got to get something regular because, like I was saying, contrary to popular belief, map making doesn't pay the bills. Well, fortunately, I don't have bills yet, but I would like to get my own place someday and my own car again. That's dreams. So I don't know if we built that place last week, but it's buildable. I don't know if we reset it, but I'm betting that if we put something else in the box, which we can try, that it would take it away. It might lose it. I'm not sure. Uh, we can test that after, well, yeah, can we? So that factory right there is not going to be buildable basically because I didn't want to lose the nice gate and all that fun stuff, and it gets a little tricky and it's a lot of pieces, but all the markings are here as well. Oat, wheat, rye go in there, and the silos are marked for picking up stuff as well. We've got some grass back there I got to get rid of. Grass at the flour mill. How that made it there after all this time, I have no idea. But yeah, you can see the silos are marked. All flowers get picked up here. Actually, oh, flowers don't go in a box truck. That's right. We'd have to test the. I'm pretty sure that because it's at 0, we could probably pull up under any trigger and that takes one of those products that goes in the box truck. And actually, well, we'll try it when we get back. So we have to mark up all the things down here at Stone Processing. That's not done yet. Oh, I'm off the road. Driving like a crazy man again. But we'll get all the markings in Stone Processing so you know where everything goes. It's marked on the ends, but we'll replace the boxes here along the edge. I mean, they're all marked on the... One thing I've noticed as I'm rebuilding too is I've been cleaning up a lot of stuff. Uh, you guys may or may not notice there may be a few factory pieces that ended up having to go missing just because they weren't suitable to the building process. I tried to keep it as minimal as possible, but there's a lot of junk. Actually, I've found parts of the factories that we aren't using anymore off the map, uh, and therefore I could just remove them. So even though we're bringing in a lot of stuff, there's actually been a lot of stuff actually removed that's been floating off or stuck underground for several, or just pieces. So hopefully that helps with the running process as well. That's where the planters factory is, and we can make that buildable because it's just like the one up on the hill that we already did. So this one is one of the projects that needs to be done in buildable fashion, but everything, and I got the flickering of the textures. If you guys remember last broadcast, we had a lot of flickering textures on the piles that were down here. There's not any peanuts in there, but all the flickering had to do with the, and I guess it's a common problem with the way up. I didn't get them off of there. You see how that? I gotta take them off of there too. Those couple conveyors have the, it has to do with the normal maps. Something with the way normal maps are created have to be tweaked. The ones I've been making, the way I've been doing it for several years now in Paint.net, are causing the shadows to get all funky and stuff. So yeah, make a note of that one. I got to do the conveyors out there too. So back over to, so mostly this side of the map is where we're going to be working this week. With the exception of, let me go through the factories that are not done, and I'll tell you what's going to happen. Canning factory, which is Del Monte, we just need to put markers on it. I have to make the markers as we go if they're not already made, but Del Monte needs to be done. First one up on the list is the Frito-Lay factory this week. Frito-Lay is going to be made buildable, It's going to be one of the more time-consuming ones because if you look over here at Frito-Lay, there's a lot of pipes, a lot of little pieces. Um, Frito-Lay's coming up. Then after Frito-Lay, we're going to go over and build the Planters factory, make that buildable. Then Kellogg's factory also has to be made buildable. And Sam Adams will be making buildable. Vodka will not be buildable this time. And that's because the way the process works, if you guys remember the way vodka always popped in last year, it was like boom, all at the end, all done, one piece. Well, it really doesn't work well in this format because I need to have one piece to cover the triggers, and I don't want to change the model and have to find a whole new vodka plant at this point in the game. So vodka at this point is not going to be buildable, but there are other factories coming in. So this one will be buildable, and it's going to take a while because yeah, the main building's fine, but it's all these silos and the pipes and all the little pieces and all the markers on the silos. You'll see that if you come around during the week when I'm building it up, how time consuming because of just all the pieces that have to be moved around and the different things. But this one's definitely going to be built along with the Kellogg's factory as well. So that one there is going to be built. And I'm going to take a quick loop up for you guys that didn't see it. And show you where one of the 3 new factories is going to be off the new road, if you weren't here last week. And yeah, try to stay off the train tracks. I got a tree to remove out of road here. You know what? I don't know. I might have removed it after I saved this game. And all right, so there's a tree in the road. We need to remove a tree. But up here is where the other factories are going to be coming in. I haven't put them on the lot right there yet. I think there's going to be one there, probably one straight ahead, and then the third one is already got its place right here. And it just has to be wired up for building, and we've got lots of silos, so yeah, this one will be able to build as well. I've got some other models. I don't know if I'm going to reuse anything we have, but I've got a couple of additional models. There's one of those findables. All right. So the next factory we're going to do is right over here. Oh, grass in road. Grass! I got to go through this and get the grass out. So we put this whole new road in, wraps right around. Shell Factory is going to be needs all the markers and stuff, but it is so huge. I do not think we'll be building Shell. I think we're just going to leave it, but we need to mark up the drop-off spot. Actually, it's pretty well done, but we'll mark these over here with the markers as well. Yeah, we got to mark these up. 1, 2, 3, and all the pickup drop-off spots. So those ones go pretty quick. It's the buildable ones that are going to be a pain in the butt. But there's only 9 left, including the 3 that we have to build. The one that we just drove completely around and you guys didn't see is where we're going to go next. And that is right up here. And this is where our soy milk factory will be built. You can see. Now this one, if I'm correct, I want to show you something. I wanna, but I don't know if I can. I don't know if I did it or not. All right, so I do have to remove, I did take out the, there used to be a removable, oh no, I'm in the trigger. It's there still. So I left the gates there, and you'll see it move, even though, so if you come in too fast or at a weird angle and you run into something in that gap, the gate's still there, and I wanted to keep it like that, but it will move out of your way even though it's invisible. It's one of those things. I can't remove the collision on the gate because of the way it works, and you can still get in. So all the gates on this place are still there. For the most part, you can get through them pretty easy because the gates move pretty quickly. But if you go up to them too fast, you roll over your box truck and then you say, oh no, what do I do now? Well, I know what we can do. We can reset that and see if the gold clears. Oh, wait, wait, wait. We did it. Hey, we got it. Yay. So yeah, the gates are still there. Just go a little bit slower and you won't have a problem. We just can't see them. But it was either remove them completely or keep them. So here we are at Soy Milk, and we've got all our products, and we got to bring over some boards if everything works well. Yeah, we just need the boards down here. So let's go get some and build the soy milk factory. On this side, again, the hops, and you'll see both this one and the glue factory have their markers now for the hemp and where the hops and hemp get dropped off. So they're marked up as well. I missed those on the last trip through. But like I said, there's 17 factories that are ready to go. And I can't leave them visible. They would have to be taken out, but I don't think it's that huge of an issue. I kind of like them there when they're done for the most part. I did take out some of them. There's just some factories I thought were better with them on there, and that being one. I already took out the ones on Pepsi. It all depends on how they're situated and if it goes up and down from both directions. That was my two main priorities. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's either in or out. And it's because if you watch during the week, for a lot of you, this isn't even going to make any sense, but the way that the fabric script and the way we're building the factories, an object has to be the very first object in the group. It can't be down in another transform group layered down, and the only way those gates work is by having the gate pieces as one of those lower layers. So they can either be made permanently not collisionable, which is kind of defeats the purpose of having a gate there in the first place, or they can be left the way they are and just have them appear when they're done, or removed completely. Those were my three options. Now, if everybody wants them that way, to be taken out completely, that can be done pretty easily. So really, depends what you guys think. I thought it was kind of nice having them there, but hey, I am just one man with one opinion. LJ Stott, thank you so
Love the look
much
of the map.
for the
Well done.
$20 donation. Thank you so much, LJ, again. Really appreciate that. It's gonna be a huge help. So, we're going to finish up this last factory, and then I'll, before we leave tonight, which we got a little while, I'm gonna tell you what's coming. What three factories will be coming this week. Hopefully we can get them all done. What new products are coming in, where things are gonna go, how, yeah, all that fun stuff. So we just got 2 trips across the map with some boards, build the soy milk factory test, and then we'll introduce to you 3 new factories, and I'm going to go to my desktop to kind of explain that because I've got the icons downloaded for the products, and we'll go through them one at a time. I've got to make all the new pallets. We've got to redo the warehouse and add probably another 40. That's why we have 4 buildings over there, but we got about another 40 products to go into those buildings over there on the main warehouse. When we're done, it's probably going to be about 40. But everything just about, well, we've got, how many? I think we got 8 just in the meat processing facility or something crazy like that. But everything, yeah, that's new will be stored in the main warehouse. And there are a lot of little things that may or may not come at the initial release. I'm not discussing them because there's a lot of things that are still, we always have ideas. Like I said, the map could possibly never be finished. It seems that way. Oh my gosh, somebody just dropped something upstairs, scared the crap out of me. Did you guys hear that? I thought it was like lightning or something. Not going to be Seasons mod compatible though. But we have a buildable dairy and it's already done. So, yeah. Yeah, you won't need Seasons on top of this. That will just go crazy. It's going to be tweaked quite a bit though. Like I said, I'm going to try to use the upgrades and such in a way that makes it more sensible for fitting the different play styles, as well as, you know, if you're going to upgrade the speed of factory work runs at, then it's going to start off slow and it's going to make a difference by upgrading this time around, you know, not just be a, I mean, right now, most of the factories, and there's so many on the map, there's no reason to have to go past stage 1 on a lot of them. And production rates are going to slow down a little bit, and you might, yeah, it'll be fun. Prices, though, will go up on some of the products, the end products, the ones that are harder to make. We're going to take a good look, in-depth look at that stuff and just tweak the numbers of what the final products are going to sell for, because they're going to take longer to make. We'll give you a little bit more for selling them in the end as well. V3 has the same amount of sawmills, and there I hit the gate a little. Maybe I will take these gates out. What do you guys think? Remove the gates or leave them? I'd like to get your opinions on it while we're here, because they're there when they're invisible. I can just take them out completely. This one is one of those ones that is time controlled, so the timing aspect would be lost if we remove the gates. That's why I left them here too. So yes, if I was building this off hours, you would be kind of running into the gates and you wouldn't be able to get in here. So I got to remove, in, out, in, out. Actually, I got 1 leave them, 2 remove them, 3 remove them, 2. It's a 50-50 thing. Just so you know, those that want to leave it, if they go out, this factory opens at, yes, right now, if we go to the factory list and we look at soy milk, and it is open from 3 to 1800 hours. We wouldn't be able to even build it because we wouldn't be able to get in here. And we lose, if I take them out, we lose the ability to have the time control of when the factories are open and closed on this factory. That was another one of the reasons. So remove them if you're a trout mouth. So yeah, you gotta still, we'll have to keep that in mind. If they're gone, if you want to build this factory, you have to build it during its normal opening hours, or you're just gonna run into those gates, which may or may not sway you guys one way or the other. I can't get my boards in there with this long rig and that other truck parked so close. without, move out of my way, without missing the trigger. There we go. Keep them in, move them out. I guess it's 50-50, so. Hey, Chetty, good to see you. You're catching the end of one anyway, but we're going to announce pretty soon the products on the 3 new factories that will be coming this week. And if you guys are here for the first time because you usually can't make it on a Friday night, my plan is to be broadcasting the building process starting on Monday and whenever I can. Maybe 2, 3. We'll see how it goes. Broadcast during the week. See, there's that invisible gate. We got to get one more load of boards this week. So it's going to be random. I'm telling you, when I work on the map, really depends on what's going on. Sometimes it's early in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, and that might be, heck, I've been known to get up at 4 a.m. and work for 3 hours doing a factory because I just can't sleep, and then going back to bed at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and that might be when the broadcast comes. Then again, I've been known to get up 8, 9 o'clock and just get right to work and go for all day. So we'll see how it works out, when it works out, but most of the time, and then I've sometimes just show up like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon and go for the rest of the evening. So I can't make them visible. Their visibility gets shut off with the things, so that's the problem. They're either there and invisible, or they're not there at all, because they are on the fact they have to be part of the factory in order to be time controlled gates, and because of that they have to be buried in the factory script, and there are too many levels down for me to control whether they're collisionable or not. Some things you just can't control. They're already going without stretching the trigger to a obnoxious size. They're probably, it's not that difficult, as you can see. You just gotta not go full speed at it, and you'll be okay. If I could have probably done this whole broadcast and not told you that, guy, and you wouldn't even have known. I did remove them, however, off the dairy because the dairy seemed better where the openings were, so I did remove them off of here. And it also wasn't a time controlled place, so I had no problem removing them from the dairy. It's just certain ones that are on the time control I wanted to leave. And did we have, I think we left it on the cement factory as well, but you know, the building process is 2 days. No, we took them off the cement factory because it's gone. The building process is like 2 in-game days. Once it's done, it's over. You bump into it a few times, I figured whoop-de-doo. It's invisible. Let me tell you, if you drive around on some of these slabs, you might bump into something anyway. But I got them pretty well clear. You can go around them pretty good. I know where a couple objects are that I still have to work on trying to get so they're not collisionable. It's a tricky process doing it this way. I liked the way they were built last year much better, but you got to work with what you have. The fact that we're even getting to do this year is, I think, pretty remarkable at this point. That's my name, D. Johnson. What are you copying me there? Can you make the gates open? Is that your real name? And is your first name David? Because if it is, there's another 27,000 of us in the United States. But welcome to the stream. It's like one of the most common names in the US, David Johnson. Could be Don, could be Denise. I don't know. I just see D. Johnson. It looks very familiar. And onward, we'll get my last of my boards here. You know what's amazing? I should keep my mouth shut, which is, very hard for me to do. But last time we streamed, we didn't lose connection, and so far this time we're almost through the stream and we haven't lost connection. That's like two in a row. Did they do something on Twitch? You guys that watch all the time, is it actually getting better, or am I just getting lucky? Because this doesn't happen. Awesome. Yeah, well, welcome to the club. J- The David Johnson Club. Oh, I didn't get all the boards. Oh, don't do that, you silly. That would really suck because then the factory wouldn't build completely. What, I'm driving away. Let me see if I can get that last one. What happened here? How come I only have 93,000 boards? Which which trailer did I not fill? Oh, that one right there. Yep. Okay. Yeah, we'll get the whole amount. No. Currently, with the railroad tracks, it is not possible to make for to connect new vehicles with the trains the way they operate. But that is a good question. A lot of people have asked that. However, there is something that we could do, and it's been thought about. It will take a little bit of work, and I need to find a forked piece of track. And I'm not saying it's gonna come along right now, but because it could be done on each of the train stations, and we'll discuss that in a minute. Well, we could discuss it now. The way the trains are now, they're one piece and they ride on that track. If, and I hope you guys, I can only explain it, so I hope you can follow what I'm saying here. If I take the current, for any of you map makers anyway, because I'll probably be using some language that some of you won't have a clue. The trains ride on a spline. If you watched early shows, you know what I'm talking about. The spline goes down the center of the railroad track. They take several hours, days to line up those splines, and I'm not going to add new splines for new railroads the way it is. However, the thought was we have one train per railroad track right now. If we had a pull-off spot, so we put a Y in and it branches off so you can have like a train yard, and then you can pull off a train and then grab train number two, and then I could use the same track spline, just duplicate it so we have three different trains on the same railway, each with three different configurations. So you could have a train that is all just the box trucks. You could have a train that's all just grain, and then you could have maybe a mixture train like we have now. And then, but we'd need to have a train yard, and it would be possible to ride the trains through each other because they're non-collisionable when they're on the rails. So it wouldn't be 100% perfect. You couldn't bump them into each other, but if you played it, okay, I'm at this railway, I'm going to pull out this train, and then just park your trains back when you're done into the train yard. And we had a train yard at each of the stations, so that, and it all, there's a lot of ifs in this. It could be done where we have multiple trains using the same railway. You'd be able to drive right through the other train that's on the same railway because they don't collide when they're on the train tracks. But the question is, would you be able to, would people use them? Would you like that sort of thing? If you parked them back into the train yard before you pulled out another one, you would never have that happen. And we could probably get, we'd have to have the room to do it, but it can be done by duplicating the spline, and the only part I would have to edit is the branch off into the train yard. And I'm not saying it would work with three trains necessarily, but we could easily experiment and do maybe two. Three would probably be the max, but three on each rail would give us 9 train possibilities. It just give you different configurations. So like I said, you could have a whole train just of box trucks to take out and do factory pickups. So we'll throw that idea out there. It's on the list. Not sure if what you guys think about that type of thing, but if you have any comments about it, love to hear your responses. And also, again, not 100% sure it's going to be completely doable, but in theory, it all works well. Uh, my theories always work well until I put them to use, though. But yeah, so you'd have the 3 trains on the same rail, just pulling off into a yard. I'd first have to find the Y sections of track to make the train. There's my gate. Maybe I will eventually. People will be like, what the heck? I keep hitting. I'm just getting this out of there because we're going to build this factory up. Where is it? Oh, it's up there. And can't get people to put their trucks away, much less trains. True. It was just a thought. You know, they wouldn't have to be put away. You could drive right through them. That's the thing. But that makes it a little, for those realists in the bunch, you would want to put them away and before you take out another one, but it's not necessary because trains are not collisionable when they're on the track. I don't know if you know that. You could drive them right underground. Can it get a setup so you can use a conveyor to unload the train? You know, not currently. That's a possibility of here we are building our factory. Just in case you didn't notice, we're going to go through this one pretty quick. Um, what I would like to see, and maybe another possibility that down the road, is we do have the flatbed, but nobody wants to use it because of the work that's involved in doing the flatbed. Come on, fill my gold. But wouldn't it be cool if we had larger containers that we could drop on the flatbed that we could fill? That'd be another thing maybe down the road, not for this release because that just add another month to the whole process. But that's a possibility as well. Making it so, oh, before we get too far in this building process, I wanted to show you one thing. Bum, 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 bum. We're going to drive through here. It's pretty well open, you know? Back here, there is the water pit. And I did leave the gate around where the water pit's going. The brick already came in, but I left that collisionable on purpose so that you couldn't fall in and get stuck while we're building the place. I just thought I'd throw that out there. So if you hit something there, that's just because I left the fence around there invisible so that we couldn't run into it. Yeah, so wouldn't it be, I think that would be a cool idea too. A nice cl- uh, big box trailer that can be dropped off like AR container type thing, but not the current one, but you know the boxes that drop on the ground. Maybe what is that called? The You guys know what I'm talking about. It's in the game. I just can't remember what the heck they're called. Where are they? Dun 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 dun. It was a mod. The hook lift stuff. Maybe hook lift containers that we could drag over and load up with some way. You know, it's something to think about. Onto one per flatbed that holds like 100,000 or something. So you're loading up hook lift containers. That would be cool. Like a shipping container, yeah. It's a possibility that we could put on the flatbeds because flatbeds aren't going to be used with the low capacity pallets. Nobody's going to use them. They're just too much work. But if we could fill up a container with a hook lift and drop them off and have maybe the crane or something, lift them onto the train. That would be kind of cool, and give them like a 200,000 capacity. So you can, that would be, I think, something that people would like to use. I mean, we have so many ideas. I'll tell you, we have ideas, just not time. So that is the problem. We can see some of the factory being built back there. Ta-da! We'll get some more gold out of here. The IT runner. Yeah, the IT runner hook lift stuff. That would be a cool big shipping container. You hook it on, fill it up, and then drop it off at a railroad yard. Have that rail yard load the one container on with 100 grand of product or whatever, and then drive it away. That would be pretty cool stuff. Don't know if it's going to be possible, but that's one of the ideas. I'll let you guys in on an idea that I've had for a long time. And I know it's doable. It's just the amount of work for this time is work. And but we've figured out it could be done because Big Daddy already, when Big Daddy brought in his own trains, uh that's when I realized it could be done with the work put in. And that idea was to make it so that, you know how the trains work right now? Well, we were going to do a bus route instead of the trains, but actually have buses on the roads. Uh, and I know it could be done, but we need to make a basically a train cart that looks like a bus and make our own little, and put it on a spline that's on the road instead of the train track. And then have bus stops around the map on the roads that as you're following through, where you would pick up passengers and then bring it so that the it goes past the factories, and the factories would require workers to go as another fill product in order for it to operate for the day, and it would use up the workers. At the end of the day, they'd be gone home and you'd have to drive the bus around and pick up workers and bring them to the factories again. So it's one of the ideas. This one definitely needs the building moved back as well because it came up way too soon. Uh, I'm inside the building already. We'll just finish up the building process, but the building came up. So soy milk needs the last building moved a little bit down the line. So there was the project 99% complete. It is enough to be done at 99, even if it is. So let's grab it. It's done. The last piece of gold is stuck there again. So, but our factory is fully operational. And here we are at soy milk with our new markers: soybean, calcium carbonate. Running into. That's a possibility. Contain auto load into a flatbed. I don't know. See, the flatbed on the trains are not auto loadable uh, because you can't select the individual train carts to do that. So that probably wouldn't be doable. And there's your water drop off, and the water's back flowing and everything. So soybean factory, soy milk factory is completely buildable and operational. We just got to move that again. I put the markers in last. Got to move that building down the list a little bit, the final building, so it doesn't cover it up so quickly. But everything's marked up. And your gates are there, but the more I've done it, I mean, it's done. We'd never have to worry about it again, but maybe I will remove the gates. It's just that we lose the time control aspect of the factory, too. Fuel and coal. And there's your pallet drop off with the pallet display and our soy milk. Do I have a shipping container FS17? Uh, loaded into one of the train cars. Now that we could, you know, I'll have to think about that. I don't know if what we could do. It's possible. We could always have a loading station for them to at the rail yards, possibly to drop off where they're emptied. And yeah, we'll have to. I mean, that's something again. We'll look into that probably after the release of V3 because it's one of those processes that will take some time. All right, so I am going to. We're a little bit over 2 hours into our broadcast. I'm going to jump out of the game and discuss real quickly by showing you the logos so I can remember what three factories are scheduled to come in and what products are going to be used into making them. I think I'll save the game just in case I want to use it later for something. I don't know. And for the final, I've got it written down here, but I'll show you a few things and just so you can kind of follow me. Three new factories. And one of them is, and you'll see a lot of pictures up in my corner box here. And that's how I'm going to kind of remember, but I do have a list as well. Back to the main screen. All my new stuff. These are things that I grab off the web and get ready. So we're going to have the Heinz Ketchup Factory, but our Heinz factory is going to be using three products. I'll open them up here so you can kind of get an idea. Yellow mustard, picture for our mustard palettes that are going to be, and I'll tell you what's going to go into making each of these. Actually, I'm not going to use the, yeah, I am, Heinz mustard. Mustard, and I did the research, is made from vinegar, mustard seed, water, and salt are four main ingredients. So that's what's going to be used to make our mustard at Heinz is vinegar, mustard seed, water, and salt. Now, along with Heinz, we're going to be making the vinegar right at Heinz. So it's going to be like the and I don't know if you can see the picture, but that is a Heinz vinegar bottle. It's going to be like the furniture factory where if you leave the vinegar in there, it can be used to go into making the additional products because ketchup also is made with tomato, vinegar, corn syrup. We're just going to use corn, salt, onion powder. We might even cut the corn out, who knows. But those are products that I can use, and we definitely want to get the tomatoes in the ketchup, and we'll use the vinegar because it's already going to be there, and we'll throw the salt. We might use the corn or the onion powder. I just left them there because we have corn and onions. We wouldn't necessarily use the powder, but it's a possibility. Uh, Another thing, so we've got ketchup, mustard, and the vinegar. Now, the vinegar is going to be made with just corn and water. Distilled vinegar, corn, water makes the vinegar. You'll be able to load up, and it's going to make it quite plentiful so it can go into the other recipes. There is a possibility of also making mayonnaise on the same line as the vinegar. I haven't decided, but that would require soybean water and salt in addition to the vinegar. That goes in mayonnaise. So the mayo is actually in there somewhere. So Heinz is factory number one, and I'm going to use this logo on the signs for Heinz, the old logo style. I like it. Well, it's a newer logo, not the old one, but I like that logo. Pretty cool. So with that factory, we get a use for the tomatoes again, the mustard. Salt gets another use, corn, blah, 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 blah. Now, second factory up would be Ken's salad dressings. If you're familiar with them in the United States, we are going to be making ranch dressing, at the Ken's dressing, ranch is going to have sugar, water, the vinegar from the other factory, milk, salt, onion. There's several products, but I don't, like I said, we'll probably cut it down to four, but ranch will definitely have the milk and the vinegar and water, sugar, salt, onion are optional. We'll see. But ranch dressing is coming in as well. The other ones would be, which one did I click on? I think that's the ranch right there. Yeah. Ranch. Uh, Next one would be the honey mustard. Go figure. We have mustard, we have honey. And with that, we can also add the water, salt, vinegar, and we have honey mustard salad dressing. So this is going to be one of the later factories too. So it may require 4 or 5 products, and we'll get a lot of money for making mustard or the dressings as well because there's going to be a little work. It's going to be one of the later factories because it's new, make you go through the whole process and unlock one of these new factories and make it worth your while. So honey mustard. And then the third one is now, unfortunately, they make this wonderful raspberry walnut vinaigrette, but we're just going to call it raspberry vinaigrette. It gives us the option to use our vinegar, our water, our raspberries from our greenhouses, and salt to make our raspberry vinaigrette. Yeah, the walnuts, we're not going to supply it, but we're going to just, because we're not putting in walnut trees yet. But if we're going to make raspberry vinaigrette dressing down there. So that is factory number 2. Now factory number 3 would be the Dole factory. Now most of you think of Dole, da-da-da, if you're in the USA, as the pineapple company. But we're going to use it a little bit different because I've got real products here. And there's going to be 3 processes that are done at Dole. You're going to be slicing and packaging. So in the slicing production line, you're going to add strawberries and we're just going to slice them up. So you get these bags of sliced strawberries from Dole. Okay, that gives us a use for our strawberries. There's shredding that's going to be done. Now, remember, 3 different lines. One is just packaging, one is slicing, one is shredding. That we're going to also have at Dole the shredded red cabbage. So you're going to bring the cabbage from your greenhouses. It's going to go into these nice little pallets of shredded red cabbage, and you can ship it fresh off, and you'll get more money for it that way. So shredding line is going to have cabbage in it, and it is going to have the lettuce from the greenhouse as well. So shredded lettuce will go into the Dole shredded lettuce package right there. These pallets are going to be made out of this, the icons for the game. Yep. And we also have in the shredded line carrots. We're going to add the shredded carrots. So you drop all 3 off. They're all going to be required, but then you're going to get equal amounts of the product shredded and out the other end. Hey, Wheels, how's it going? So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to have the packaging line, and we're just going to have the cauliflower florets from Dole. These are actually products they have. We may add one more. I haven't found something else to package yet. But cauliflower on that line might be the only thing. We'll package it up, just process it. But also on the slicing line is where we're going to bring sliced apples in. So that gives us a use for the apples as well. So basically you're going to bring apples and strawberries. They'll work on the same line and output 2 products in equal amounts, apples and strawberries. You'll require them both, but we'll get many more products out of the factory that way and get all these final products to use on the Dole factory, all the ones that are currently. With that being said, while I'm here, one last thing. The plan also is to remove some of the direct sale on these products and redo the sell points. What I mean by direct sale is I want to have apples go direct. I don't want to have you grow apples to just sell them off. We have so many great products at the end game products that if you're growing apples, I want you to have to use the apples for most of the products. There are going to be a couple rare exceptions, ones that we don't have, like the mutton from the sheep, that might be a quick money maker. But if apples are used to make at the Dole factory, then you're not going to be able to sell apples directly off. You're going to have to bring them to the Dole factory to create the product that is for end sale. It gives it more of a use than just selling, with the exception of maybe 4 or 5 of the main grains to help you get started, the wheat, the barley, oat, rye type of thing. Those will always have a place to direct, maybe coffee, because coffee just goes direct sale. We'll have some of the grains be direct sale, but when it comes to products like honey, I don't want you to be just going and selling the honey off when we make it. The honey is going to have a use for honey mustard. It's going to have a use for the uh well, countless all the other products. I forget which ones they were, but there's now going to be mustard, for instance. Mustard, it's going to be able to go make mustard at Heinz or make the honey mustard dressing. So mustard is one of those products that there's no real reason to have it be sellable in the beginning, which means that the starter fields might change up a little bit, but that is the goal. So you need a distribution center to bring everything to and ship out pallets of mixed goods. The distribution center is, hey, Thermidad's out there. Hey, Thermidad, long time no see. Glad to see you there, friend. Hope all is well. Uh, it's basically this train station is our distribution center. So I'm almost done wrapping it up, but other than that, one last thing, I'll add one more last thing. There's obvious things that I don't cover that have to be done before it finishes up. Number two is uh, starting the game. We have to change the graphic to Pleasant Valley version 3. Uh, and I'm going to mix it up a little bit. We also have to change, as we're starting the game, the I got to do a little bit of this changes in the the startup screens. We're going to highlight what's new to the map more than what was already there and put these startup screens. So there's all those little things and all the new products that are coming in. So there's a lot of the final finishing touches that have to be done. And then we can get it out. But I will show you. I've been walking around. Let me see if I can find them here quick enough. I'm going to quit this game once more. But yeah, those things have to be done. Everything has to be tested. I don't know if I can find them, but I'm going to check it out. I've been walking around. I live in farm country, and you guys might be oh, I think they're in my Dropbox. Welcome, and thank you for the follow, all the followers tonight. Really appreciate it. I'm going to jump in my Dropbox real quick. I think I walked around my neighborhood. This is just, I go for my daily walks, and I'm going to kind of give you an idea of some of the screenshots the pictures that I took. And I'm thinking I want to go back to this farm, and I don't go on the farmer's property because I don't want to get shot. You know how farmers can be. But I've been trying to take some pictures for the new screen, and I really like the equipment and stuff. I just wish that it was situated different. So he's been doing his hay down the street. I'm going to go back down there and see if I can get a better screenshot of the old New Holland baler and his John Deere tractor back there, and he's got his, I don't even know what the heck that is, but Just some of the area that's down there. I'm going to try to find from the farms that are right down the street from here uh, better. I like this picture too. It's kind of shows you where I live. Just gonna try to find a new screenshot for the map. So that's down the road a little bit. That has a for sale sign. And if you want this old bison trailer, there's a for sale sign. They want $1,000 for that thing. I don't think I'd give them 300, but then again, what do I know about that stuff? Yeah, so this is pretty much what it looks like around here. As I walk down the street, lots of hay farms, lots of fields. Uh, Not a farmer myself, but let's see if this is the road I walked on. Right there, there is the houses, like I said, few and far between. Uh, but that's where I live, and I'm gonna try to find something. It's really nice out here, really quiet, as you can see. Uh, that's the main road. I don't live on the main road, but that's a few miles away. And oh, this was this another picture? Oh, there's one of his tractors too in his fields. So with that, guys, oh, this is one of the farms. The cows weren't out that day, but kind of pretty cool. You know, the cows are usually out here by the lake, but it was a hot day, so they weren't out there. Anyhow, guys, thanks for watching tonight, and thank you for the donations, you guys, LJ, and let me see, LJ Stott, and oh, you know who you are. It's been so long, while ago. There was 3,000 follows. Uh, J Reedy 76, $25. That's who it was. Thank you guys both so much for the donations. And like I said, next week, Monday through Friday, when I'm available and I can stream, I'm just going to stream the working on the map. We'll get into it. We'll finish up these factories. And I hope to you guys, the times will be a little bit mixed up a little bit more. So if you're not usually able to make it on Friday nights, maybe it'll better suit you. Maybe we'll get some new viewers. And that's pretty much it. So thanks you guys for watching, and we will catch you during the week. Have a great evening, and we'll get there about another month away. Have a great one, guys. Thanks for watching.